This is Steve from Xtreme Heaters. I wanted to tell you guys why Xtreme Heaters are the best there is, period, and go over a lot of the benefits and features for you. So what we have done is over the 20 years we've been in business, we have constantly improved and made it better to where we think we now have the most ultimate heater that you could ever build. So let me go over some of those benefits and features. Before we go much further, I did want to tell you guys, a lot of this video covers why we're so good for the boating market, but we are also huge into the RV market, and all the qualities that make this heater wonderful for a boat make it even better for an RV. First off, we're going to start with the housing and the casing that we use for it. This is actually 6063 aluminum. It is completely manufactured and built just for me to house all the internals so it all fits in, snaps in together. Then we completely anodize the case. And when you anodize something, guys, you actually submerge it in the solution, and the anodizing is electrically charged and actually grows onto this. So there is never a chance of this ever corroding in your boat or in the marine environment. Salt water won't hurt this at all. And to go with that, we put a fan housing on the end that's made out of stainless steel. And then the rivets that we use to put this together, and yes, we use rivets to put it together because there is no serviceable items for the consumer. So no need for you to ever open this. If there's ever a problem, which there's not, you can always send it back to us and we'll service the heater for you. But we also use aluminum and stainless rivets in here. So everything in this is actually made to be in the marine environment. Not only in the marine environment, but we're near gas fumes, we're near oil, we're near water and salt water. So we actually make sure everything in here is compatible that way. So as you can see, there's lines inside of this, and this basically fits right inside. Again, these two things were made to fit together. So what I mean by some of that is there's no off-the-shelf parts. Like, I see that there's a lot of competition coming out on the streets with some cheaper made products. And our product was built and designed to buy us each individual part. There is no just taking parts off the shelf and throwing them together and try to make something out of it. We literally made this for this purpose. 20 years worth of R&D have gone into this and building this better and better. So you can see these fins here, and it's encapsulated in this DuPont plastic that we use to house the element. But this makes us a true forced air heater, meaning everything that comes in from the fan has to go across the heating element and right out the other side. There is no loss of any air or loss of any heat here. This is the best way to transfer the heat into the air environment. And again, this is completely anodized, so it's sealed away from the marine environment. And then on the end here, we'll zoom in and you can see that this is encapsulated. And when we encapsulate it, it also keeps it away from the gas fumes, the oil, the water, and the marine environment. So it's completely sealed heating element. All electronics are completely sealed. Anything electrical is completely sealed. So this thing will outlast the life of your entire boat. So the plastic housing is tooled just for us to hold our elements. And again, it is made out of a DuPont ST801 material, which is very heat resistant and very strong. And the heat cycles are going on and off won't affect this material. So this will last forever. And then the fan is bolted onto the end like we talked about for the true forced air. And then my electronics are put into the top and they're completely encapsulated again to keep all the oil, water, gas, and any marine environment out. You can't get any better than this. This is completely sealed. All the electronics, all the electrical components. I want to dive a little bit into the heart of the heater, which is our electronics that we had specially built for our heater. So one of the great things that was actually driven by customer demand was our tricolor LED. So our LED has 3 colors, which basically tell you what state your heater's in. So when you first plug this in, it's going to go into a self-test. It's going to blink for about 30 seconds, telling you it's going to run the fan. It's telling you, okay, I'm doing a self-test. It's checking everything, make sure everything's spot on. And then it'll go solid green. Solid green means I'm here, I'm in standby, and I'm ready to work. Then when the temperature drops below 40 degrees, the thermostat will turn on, which then turns on the electronics and the heating element, and the LED will turn red. That tells you that the heater is in heating mode. And then when the heater senses that it's run the temperature up to that 55 degrees, thermostat turns off, then we have a proprietary thing that only we do. Nobody else on the market does this. We actually have a cool down mode for 10 minutes. So that's going to turn the LED orange, which tells you this is in cool mode. And there's about 3 major reasons we do the cool mode. First is the heating element's already hot. So if we run the fan for 10 extra minutes, then we can go ahead and get that extra heat out free of charge to you guys because the heat's already there. We just run the fan past it and evacuate it out of the case. What this also does is help everything come back to whatever ambient temperature is, which should be 55 degrees. So we're resetting the entire environment back to that ambient temperature, which helps my thermostat react faster to that temperature. If you were to just like pulling your pan off of the oven, the temperature don't drop immediately. It takes time. So what we do is we flush the air pass to reset the entire heater back to whatever that ambient temperature is. So the fact that it's designed to medical, they really come into play with surge protection. And if you guys know or ever been on a dock, there's a lot of surge, there's a lot of lightning strikes. So we actually have surge protection built right into our electronics. Plus again, we have our timer in there and we have redundant fail safes in this. So we do a lot of military applications, and this is really important for those military applications. But what it means to you as a consumer is you have the best piece of equipment. It's actually medical and military grade. Let's talk about our thermostat next. There's a lot of thermostats out there, and a lot of people, this is not common knowledge, so I'm going to give you a little quick brief down. So this is our thermostat. It actually is potted in again, which means it's sealed away from the marine environment. Gas and oil fumes won't affect this at all. But most thermostats, even like the thermostat in your house or any thermostat you touch, they have a typical of a 7-degree tolerance. So if it was set at 40, theoretically it could come on 7 degrees higher or 7 degrees lower. And the smallest that you can get is a 3-degree tolerance. There is no such thing as a 1-degree tolerance on the thermostat. So what we do is we pay extra money to get this down to the 3-degree tolerance. So when this comes on at 40, it's actually plus or minus 3 degrees, right? So we tighten that tolerance to just make sure we're as accurate as we can, which saves you money over time. So one of the other things that we want to talk about when we were talking about true forced air, we have a custom designed fan made just for us. And it probably cost us 3 times of what a normal fan would cost somebody. But this fan is made special for this product, meaning it's waterproof with IP68 rating on it. It is dust proof that goes along with IP68 rating. And we have 58 CFM of air movement, which is 2 to 3 times what all the others are using. The reason we do that, because one of the important key of keeping your boat warm is airflow. No different than the heat in your house, right? You got to move the air around. So we try to circulate the average engine compartment about 4 to 5 times per hour. So the amount of airflow that's coming out of your heater is critical to help you do that. And if you don't have that airflow, then the heat's going to just tend to rise and then stay in one spot. So we circulate the air, move the air. That's really critical to help us do our jobs. The other thing with this fan is we have it special designed for a lot of back pressure. And the reason we talk about back pressure, and I think that a lot of people wouldn't understand that, is we're actually blowing that air right past the heating element. That creates back pressure. So we have special blades designed that force that air right past that heating element and won't slow down the airflow. So that's called back pressure. Another thing that's custom built just for us is the power cord. We do 15 foot of power cord because in most boats, 15 foot should either get you out of the engine compartment or get you all the way to the panel box. A lot of people wire these right to their panel box and they'll have a breaker just for the heaters. Most panel boxes in boats will have an accessory switch. You use that accessory for your heaters. You can turn on and off your heaters when you want to. This is called SJTOW. That means oil and waterproof. It's 105 degrees C rated. That's 221 degrees Fahrenheit. So this power cord is meant to be in your engine room around oil, water, and high temperatures. We put an extra strong strain relief on our power cord. We do this not that you guys are necessarily going to need it, but we know these are bouncing around in a boat, and that makes this extra strong. This strain relief really grabs a hold onto that power cord and lets you know that you're not going to have to worry about your wires. Now, it's not going to bounce around on your boat like that, but if you ever needed it to, it would tolerate it. I want to get back and talk about the heart of the heater, which is the heating element that is specially designed actually by me for this purpose. So as you can see, it's really thick aluminum. It is extruded out. It's very strong. We encapsulate both sides again to keep anything out of the electricity path and the heat path, so no fumes can get into this because it is encapsulated. You could actually submerge this in water or oil and it wouldn't hurt anything. Then it's anodized, which another layer of protection. Plus it's super strong. I think you can see how thick that is, how strong it is. So if you get other heaters and you see this little stripped fin heater, run, because this is not safe. I'm gonna call this is electrically alive. As you can see, you have connections here on these, which will corrode and actually short out over time, and you will lose power here. But if you were to plug this in and touch this, it's actually electrically alive. It's not anodized. It's very thin aluminum. And for that, we have seen these go into a salt test. And this is where they spray stuff with salt spray, just like the ocean would do to you, right? We've actually watched these things completely disintegrate down to a pile of rubble. They're not safe for the marine environment. So if you see something like this in your heater, get rid of it. Besides the fact, it's very hard to regulate the temperature, but also, if you were to get a little dust in your engine compartment or a little bit of oil in your engine compartment, you could see that airflow, how easy it would be to clog this up and for this thing to overheat. That is part of the reason behind our design. You're not going to clog that up with dust, oil, or water. It's just not going to happen. So these are the reasons why we know we have the best heater on the market and the best heater you could possibly design for a boat. So good, I'm willing to put my face out in the public saying, I designed this, I built this, and it's done for this reason. Some of our original heaters that we brought out 20 years ago are still in boats in Alaska, still working. We keep in contact with the people, their work boats. So they need to fish, they need to work, they need to do stuff with their boats. If you want a piece of equipment that's gonna last you longer than the life of your boat, you want an Xtreme Heaters. We're American owned and operated. We appreciate your business. We're here to help. And like I said, I put my face on this. Thank you for watching, and we hope this gives you some useful information.